Okay, I'll read you a couple of bits from an article I found on time.com called Casualty of War, Mental Health. This article was written by Claudia Wallace about 5 years ago. Quote, while many news reports focused on the high rates of devastating physical injuries among soldiers returning from Iraq and Afghanistan, a new study released today measures another form of casualty: mental illness. The study, published in the Archives of Internal Medicine, was conducted by Dr. Karen Seal and colleagues at the San Francisco Veterans Affairs Medical Center and the University of California, San Francisco. According to their analysis, about 1/3 of the 103,788 returning veterans seen at VA facilities between September the 30th, 2001 and September the 30th, 2005 were diagnosed with mental illness or a psychosocial disorder, such as homelessness and marital problems, including domestic violence. Over half, 56%, were suffering from more than one disorder. The median was 3 disorders, says Dr. Seal. So instead of treating just post-traumatic stress disorder, you're treating PTSD, depression, and substance abuse. The most common combination, she says, was post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. That's understandable, says Seal, because soldiers face horrifying events in combat that lead to post-traumatic stress disorder, while experiencing a lot of loss and separation leads to depression. End quote. So yeah, war can obviously cause soldiers a great deal of psychological distress. There's a documented link between war and mental illness. But, of course, it's not just soldiers who suffer as a result of horrifying conflicts. Allow me to read a few paragraphs from an article which appeared on the site inthesetimes.com last month. The article was written by Terry J. Allen. It's called Collateral Insanity in Afghanistan. Quote, the war in Afghanistan has taken a devastating toll on mental health. From depression to suicide, domestic violence to murderous rampages. And financial and family strains, as well as attempts at self-medication, have exacerbated the casualty count. I am talking about the war's effects on Afghans. But after US Army Staff Sergeant Robert Bales allegedly massacred at least 17 civilians, including 9 children, on March the 11th, Media and experts quickly rallied to lament how the mental stress of Bale's multiple combat deployments provided sympathetic context to the Panjwai butchery. The ignored context is an Afghan population traumatized by more than 4 decades of cultural and military devastation wrought by invading armies, mercenaries, women-hating Taliban and warlords, on top of a life expectancy in the low 60s. Many Afghans, blameless in ways that volunteer soldiers never can be, have been pushed past sanity by violence, by becoming refugees or internally displaced, and by losing family, culture, educational opportunities, professions, houses, rights, and hope. Violence is now embedded in daily routine, concluded the Dutch non-governmental organisation HealthNet. The World Health Organization found that 60% of Afghans have mental illnesses, including anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, suicide, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Women and children bear the brunt. More than half of all women are depressed, with 78% suffering anxiety disorders, according to HealthNet researchers. And 80% of children surveyed in Kabul felt frightened, sad, and unable to cope, with 90% believing that they will die in war, according to a 2011 report by the UK-based NGO Tearfund. End quote. I'm one of these people who hopes that in the not too distant future, people will look back at our time and wonder how humans ever survived or lived the way we did. I hope we can find a way to abolish war and live peacefully and productively for generations to come. And I'm sure many others hope for the same thing. But hope alone won't get us there. As long as governments or other groups see violence as a legitimate or justifiable means to settling disputes or gaining an advantage, then we will never truly be rid of war. At least not until war gets rid of all humans. I suppose a country like Afghanistan is a first-rate example of what war does to a people. Not only does war physically destroy lives and communities, it also destroys minds. It murders potential and it kills liberty. And of course, it kills hope too. What good is a life without hope? I ask you. I think the sad truth is that war, terrible thing as it is a very attractive or appealing thing for large numbers of people in many, if not most, cultures around the world. This is something we can't ignore if we're realistic about achieving world peace one day. What we need is a world with better educated and more thoughtful people in it. There'll be no peace without a great deal of education. We can't let ourselves be swayed by those politicians who point to other countries and point to other people and cultures and say they embody evil. They are the enemy. They are a threat to our way of life, and thus they must be defeated on the battlefield. And anyone who disagrees with this is a traitor. We can't listen to people who want us to be scared and who want us to hate our fellow humans. Better educated people are far more likely to stand against the warmongers of this world than are the ignorant, I would say. Anyway, take care of yourselves, folks. Peace.